Today, we're going to go on a journey that stretches across 1,000 years of history, connecting an ancient, almost forgotten remedy to a supermodern medical test. It's all about one amazing molecule, glycocholic acid. And trust me, its story is incredible.
So you have to ask yourself, right? What on earth could possibly link the wisdom of ancient physicians with the high-tech precision of a 21st century lab? Well, the answer is a single molecule, and how it all fits together is just fascinating. So let's dive in.
To really get what makes glycocholic acid so important today, we actually have to go way back. We have to start at its source, a really potent and maybe a little surprising ancient remedy, animal bile.
Now, using bile as medicine isn't some new age trend. This stuff is deeply, deeply rooted in traditional Chinese medicine. We're talking texts from the Han Dynasty, some of the oldest medical books in the world that were already documenting how to use carp bile. And this tradition just kept going, right through the Jin Dynasty and into the Ming Dynasty, where the legendary text, the Benqiao Gong Mu, listed over 30 different kinds. This was serious, trusted medicine for centuries.
And we're not talking about vague cures here. The historical texts were incredibly specific. For instance, the Shenang Benqiao Jing describes using carp bile for very distinct symptoms, like redness, swelling, and pain in the eyes. It just gives you a real, tangible sense of how precisely these ancient medicines were being used.
I mean, the list of applications was incredibly broad. Animal bile was used for everything. It was an anti-inflammatory, a digestive aid, a cough suppressant. It even had antibacterial properties. You can totally see why it was considered such a versatile and powerful tool in the traditional pharmacy.
So for hundreds of years, people knew that it worked. The next big question, the one modern science wanted to answer, was why? What was the secret ingredient hiding inside bile that gave it all these incredible healing properties?
And the answer lies in a group of molecules called bile acids. These are the little powerhouses, the active components inside the bile. Now, chemically, they're known as steroidal amphipathic molecules. Amphipathic is a great word. It just means one end of the molecule loves water and the other end loves fat, kind of like soap. You know how soap breaks down grease? Well, that's a huge clue to what its main job is.
Okay, so these bile acids come in two main flavors. First, you've got your free bile acids. Think of them as the basic building blocks. But then you have conjugated bile acids. These are formed when one of those free acids links up with an amino acid. And it's in this second group that we finally find the star of our show, glycocholic acid, or GCA.
So, after all that buildup, it is time to put our star molecule in the spotlight. Everybody meet glycocholic acid.
So what is it exactly? Well, GCA is one of those conjugated bile acids we just talked about. It's synthesized right in your liver when a bile acid hooks up with an amino acid called glycine. It's a completely natural and absolutely crucial part of our body's chemistry. Its main day job is helping us digest fats. Remember that soap-like quality? This is where it really shines. GCA revs up the enzymes that break down fat. It helps bust up big fat globules into tiny, manageable pieces, and it even signals the body to make more bile. It's a total MVP in our digestive system.
But this is where our story really comes full circle. Recent research has found that GCA has a whole bunch of bonus powers. It's anti-inflammatory, it's antipyretic, which just means it helps reduce fevers, and it even has antioxidant and antibacterial effects. Now, does that list sound kind of familiar? It should. These are the exact same properties that ancient physicians were observing 1,000 years ago.
And this connection is what brings us right into the present day. Because by unlocking the secrets of GCA, scientists found a brand new and incredibly important use for it as a highly sensitive signal for our liver health.
Okay, so here's the key thing you need to know. Your liver basically acts like a filter. In a healthy person, after GCA does its job in the gut, the liver is constantly pulling it out of the bloodstream. And because a healthy liver is so incredibly good at this, the amount of GCA that's floating around in your blood should be extremely low. That's our healthy baseline. But what happens if that filter, the liver, starts to have some trouble? What if its cells get damaged and they just can't do their job like they're supposed to? Well, they stop pulling GCA from the blood, and as a result, the GCA levels in your bloodstream start to rise. A simple blood test can spot that spike, which makes elevated GCA an absolutely crucial early warning sign that something might be wrong with the liver.
So there you have it. We've traveled from ancient Chinese medical texts all the way to a modern diagnostic lab. It's just an incredible journey for one single molecule.
When you get right down to it, the story of glycocholic acid is just this amazing example of how modern science doesn't always have to invent something brand new. Sometimes its greatest strength is in explaining and validating the wisdom that's been hiding in plain sight for centuries. What was once just an observation is now understood, it's measured, and it's being used in a completely new way to help us.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to ponder, doesn't it? If a 1,000-year-old remedy held the key to a modern liver test, what other secrets are just sitting there, tucked away in ancient texts, waiting for science to come along and unlock them? Thanks so much for joining us.